Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dynamics Con event. Very excited to be part of it. My name is Ali, and I'm going to be talking about field service and AI builder. And that is how we can make Dynamics smarter using AI. That is my agenda. I'll give you a quick intro of mine, who am I, where I work, and what I do. And then we'll talk about the story of Dynamics Field Service with AI Builder. We'll talk about the business processes, and we'll talk about the workflows, and we'll see how AI can bring in the intelligence into that. That is my goal for today to share with you. So quick introduction of mine. I'm Dynamics State Practice Lead in Valrada. At Valrada, we work on data AI, but our forte is Dynamics, and particularly Dynamics Field Service. Like most of you, I am very excited. I'm passionate about Dynamics, Azure, Power Apps, Power Platform, virtual agents, all the exciting things happening in the world of Microsoft and Power and all of that. I'm very excited to be working on this, and I talk and I write and share my new discoveries or whatever new thing I find and do on these platforms. And so this is my website, acon.me, where I write about Dynamics Field Service mostly, and I'm also doing a series on beginners on Dynamics Field Service. So please feel free to visit, and if you have any feedback, any input, or if you just want to share something or talk about anything on your projects or engagements, please feel free to just contact me, and I'd love to have a virtual coffee with you. A lot of exciting thing probably is about me is that I'm recently started running, and I'm looking forward to my first marathon whenever it happens here in Sydney. All right, so that's my intro. Get this out of the way, and we'll talk about the exciting stuff. What I'm actually the theme of this video or this session, it really is a story. And this is a story of who I think are really heroes of these pandemic times. These are the people who are actually out on the field, and they're working. They are keeping these essential services running. They're keeping the internet running. They're keeping all those, the wheel of economy running so that we can work from our homes, from our secure and safe places. And this is a story about them because they are working on all these in these challenging times and out in the field and all the assets and keeping them up and running, and how then Dynamics actually helps them in achieving that. And I think I'm very fortunate. I consider myself fortunate in the sense that this year we have worked with customers in the healthcare sector and the services sectors, and it's amazing to see how technology can help in ensuring the processes run smoothly. There's end-to-end automation. Data is moving across the different boxes of the process. And in the end, our customers, our clients are able to provide better and consistent services to their customers. And all the assets that they are managing, like internet and electricity and all the other things, they're all up and running. So with that, so this is a story about them, and particularly what I'm going to talk about. And the key point here is that these field service organizations, they exist around all the different verticals. They are in manufacturing, they are in government, they are in aged care, they're in healthcare, all the different types and all the different verticals. Field service is the goal of field service in the end is to do two things: is to make sure the customer services are provided to customer on time and within the entitlements that are decided for them, and then the assets that they are maintaining are running. And to achieve that, the three fundamental challenges, which I'm going to go through one by one here. And this story is specifically about a customer here in Australia who manage assets across different verticals. So they manage assets related to communication, the roads and services and all of that. And they manage assets related to all the utilities like internet and electricity and power or gas and all those things. And they also manage assets related to mining and a lot of other industries. And the way then the entire field service works, the entire organization works, how then Dynamics can help them in achieving their goals, how Dynamics can play as a part of their business to meet their objectives. This is what I'm going to share with you. So first thing, the first goal of any field service organization, and this is true for our customer as well, was to provide end-to-end customer service. And what does end-to-end customer service mean? End-to-end customer service means that you get the case into, your case arrives into Dynamics through any channel, right? Through email, through chat, through phone call, or whatever. Your case arrives in Dynamics. And then from that point on to the delivery, the entire cycle is completely automated. So if I am calling my internet provider that please install a network device in my home, then that request goes into Dynamics. It gets assigned to a particular team who is working in my area. And then within that team, it goes to a specific technician, and the technician opens up her mobile, and she can see the job. She can come over, install the device, and then complete the status, and that status comes back to me. This entire cycle is totally automated using the field service. So field service basically enables end-to-end automation. And that is usually the first challenge of organizations, that they wanted to bring in that automation. They don't want to have those data silos, and that is what you achieve through the Dynamics Field Service Customer Service. So it's very exciting to see the entire journey automated in one BPF, which is business process flow, or one process going end to end. Then the second thing is, which I briefly just talked about, is the scheduling. And scheduling is fun, it's exciting, but it's also very complex because there's so many parameters. The basic three dimensions are what work is required, who the work needs to be assigned to, and the date time. So at least these are three dimensionals. But when you think more about it, there could be 4 and 5 and number of dimensions. Like, for example, who works in which territory? So there's a dimension related to the location. And then what skill sets are required to do the work? So that's another dimension. In certain industries, certifications are very important in terms of regulations and compliance. You need to be certified to use a certain machinery or certain tool. So that's another dimension. And then there could be other dimensions, like you would want to provide an accelerated service, a quick service to a particular customer who are entitled to certain KPIs or certain SLAs. So you need to, for example, if there's a request related to installation, you need to install that device over there within 12 hours. And if something needs to be fixed, you need to fix in 4 hours. All of those are called entitlements. So these are multi-dimensional scheduling. Is a requirement of any field service organization, which was very true for this very customer as well. And so it was very exciting to see schedule board, how schedule board as one central screen, one window, resolves all of these challenges. So that was scheduling. And the third thing is preventative, right? If you are servicing your assets beforehand and you're basically servicing them as per their service schedules, then the most likelihood scenario is they will not be a breakdown, or statistically speaking, there will be a lot less breakdowns. And preventative maintenance is, I would go on saying that no asset management company or servicing company can probably exist without a preventative maintenance schedule as a plan or system, because all the services, all the assets, which when you install them, they come with their own service schedules or service calendar, which comes from the manufacturer. So as an organization like our customer, what they want to do, they want to have a system automatically generate jobs for the technicians so that they can go and service those assets. Now that servicing may happen every month or every quarter or twice in a year, anything like that. Because the requirement from Dynamics then is Dynamics should be able to generate those. And that is the agreements, it is called agreements in Dynamics. And that is that functionality in Dynamics, which basically enables that. So with this customer, Dynamics field service was installed, and it basically make them achieve all these three basic fundamental objectives through Dynamics field service out of the box. So we're not talking about any customization. These are the capabilities and the features of Dynamics field service, which just comes out of the box. Okay, So from this point on, I'm just going to digress a little bit and quickly talk about Dynamics Field Service. Dynamics Field Service is a part of Dynamics family. It's just like you have got customer service, you've got sales, you've got marketing. Field service is another part of the same family. Now, what field service does? I think there are three ways we can unpack the box and look at inside what's in there. The first is data components, right? For example, and this is an analogy. If you talk about sales, the basic data components are opportunity, orders, and obviously customer and accounts, or contacts and accounts. And customer service, basic data components is the case itself. In Dynamics Field Service, the basic data components on which all the operations happen or on behalf of which operations happen are planners and resources. And planners are the people who plan their resources, the technicians to work on the jobs. So those are two fundamental ones. And then as a combination of resource and work, you get bookings. And that's a booking on the calendar. And then what element the work happens, that's your assets. The assets could be anything. It could be as big as some big machinery which is stored in certain plant which needs to be maintained, which needs to be serviced, and it could be as small as a certain chip stored in a certain device. Basically, you have to service all of that, right? So that's your assets. And then is the capability of Dynamics to maintain that, to have a calendar to automatically maintain that, and to also listen to the telemetry. So telemetry and IoT and AI is the part of Dynamics Field Service from very beginning, from very early on. So these five are the data components. Let's go ahead and see what are the modules then. So modules. First one is the clients and assets. Clients have got their own assets. As a servicing company, for example, our client, they were working for customers, their clients, and were maintaining their assets. So for example, if it's a local government, they have got all their assets like roads and trees and all the bus stops and all those things. If you're talking about some corporate company, their buildings, their laptops, their air conditioning, all of those are assets, right? So clients and assets, that's the sort of fundamental. Number two, your resources and bookings. So your resources, it could be your employees, or they could be your contractors who are working for you, or your partners. So those are resources and the bookings, and booking is where you are booking them to the work. So that's number two. Third is the work and scheduling. Work comes in many different shapes and forms. There are different templates. There could be, you could have different types of work. You could have different checklists related to different types of work. All of those combinations, they're all part of work, and they're also related to scheduling. So for example, certain work would be of a type where you will install it today, and then after 4 days, you will come back and check that. And that's the nature of the work. And that needs to be taken into account when you're scheduling the work. Versus another type of work where you will just go and install it, and that's it. Right? So work and scheduling, they both work together, and that actually helps the planners to book resources. And then you've got preventative maintenance, which we talked about a little bit, and then purchasing. Purchasing is also important, and that's where most of the time some sort of integrations come to play between the Dynamics Field Service and ERP solution. And imagine the scenario, if I'm a field service technician and you are a planner, and you have scheduled me to go out and do certain work. I'm out in the field, and I just realized that I need some part to fix this machinery, for example, fix this asset, or I need to go and buy a certain tool. So that's where purchasing comes into play. It's not like a full-blown purchasing like ERP, but it's the purchasing in the context of field service. So those four are the modules, core modules of field service, where all the action happens. All right, and then the most interesting bit, and that is what makes Dynamics Field Service very unique, is the fact that Dynamics Field Service comes with its own web, which is true for other Dynamics products as well, like customer service and sales. But it also comes with its own mobile app, and that's very exciting. You have obviously got the Dynamics app, out of the box Dynamics app, but Field Service comes with its own app, and that app is exciting in the sense that it has got all the lot of other features which are not available in other app. the Dynamics Core app. And the reason is field service has got its own unique, peculiar requirements. Like, for example, you would want to know when your team has reached the site so that you can inform the client that my team has reached, please arrange access, right? So you need to have that location understanding. You need to, for example, enable the device team on the ground, your team on the ground, to get and see the telemetry data. So they are related, they are those requirements which are very specific to field service organizations, and those are enabled through this mobility app, which is part of Dynamics. It's a very unique experience, but the best part about that is it is built on the new app is built on the same Power Platform. So that's the mobile app that you get out of the box. The third is Portal. Portal usually comes into play when you have, for example, customers. You want to share their status of their services, status of what is happening on their assets. You want to expose that to your customers. That's when Portal comes into play. Portal also comes into play when, for example, your partners, contractors, they are working for you as your resources. So you want to give them a web view where they can go and pick up the job, do the job, and come back and update that. That's Portal. And you also have got Remote Assist. And these are those new exciting things which are happening in the world of, particularly in Dynamics Field Service and overall in the Power Platform, where, for example, you are enabling the resources to be on the site and get the knowledge-based article access or get the access to the experts sitting in the back office through the devices, through these new apps. You're able to see 3D modeling. So there's a lot of other exciting things happening in the world of Dynamics Field Service. So that basically is so that was a 3-side digress from the main topic on unbundling what is Dynamics Field Service. Okay, so from there we'll move on to our story. So our story, it's a recap. It's a customer managing lots of assets across different verticals: healthcare, road services, communication, utility services, all of that. They installed Dynamics Field Service. They got the end-to-end customer journey automation, which makes the customer engagement better, provide better services to your customers. They also got scheduling done, which enables them to assign resources per their skill set, per their availability, per the requirements of the job involved. All of that they got through scheduling. And number 3, they got the preventative maintenance, which enables them to get a job, just pops out from the system that this asset needs servicing on so-and-so date, and that date it actually came from the service schedule of that asset, which, for example, said that this asset needs to be serviced every 3 months. So that's the preventative maintenance. Now, system went live, customer is happy, field resources are out in the field, they're getting the job, and they're working on them, and all that data is getting fed back to Dynamics Field Service. Updates and status updates, documents are going to customers, they are going to asset management team. So this entire journey is end-to-end automated. Few months on, in a audit of the system, from the viewpoint of what can be improved, a challenge came up. And what was that challenge? The challenge was, and this is true for certain industries from different viewpoints. So, for example, certain industries, and particularly healthcare, you need to take pictures, you need to take evidence as part of compliance. And in some other industries like government, you need to take pictures, you need to gather evidence while you're working as part of legal requirements as well, so legal/compliance. And in other industries, like for example, manufacturing, you would want to capture the evidence while working on the assets from the warranty and quality perspective. So for all of those different types of different reasons, when your team, your field technicians go out on the ground and they actually work on the assets, what happens? They take pictures before the work. So that's before. They take pictures of, for example, let's take an example of a broken cable for an internet, right? Big issue. So your team arrives at the site, they're gonna dig up the place, they're gonna see the cable, they'll see what type of damage that is, and then they're going to replace it or fix it, and then they're going to close it again. So for this entire job, the first thing they're going to do, they're going to take pictures of what is the current situation. They'll dig up the entire pit. They will have a look at the cable, They again take more evidence and then send it back to the utility company. This scenario is already capturing probably in the vicinity of 20-30 pictures already now, right? But then the work will start, and the work will have different stages, and then work will finish, and this entire journey, you will be taking more and more pictures. So what happens is, in the end, you will get lots of pictures, you will get a lot of images in the system. And previously, when Dynamics was not there, maybe this was still happening, but because those things were distributed across different systems, some of them were coming through email, some of them were going into some folders, some of them might be going into SharePoint, but you could not basically see all this data coming in. But now that you have got one single point of entry into the system, you can see lots and lots of images into the system. So what does this issue translate into? So when you're getting lots of those images, all of those images are coming back to the back office. Now, back office will need to see them. They will have to verify. They will have to see, okay, this is that issue. They will have to verify the severity of the problem, right? And then they will also have to verify, is the work done? And then looking at the pictures, when they see, yeah, work is done, then they're going to inform the client that, yeah, that thing is fixed, cable is fixed, and the connectivity is restored. So that translated into a massive issue, looking at all these pictures in the coming into the system, taking the storage, and adding a lot of load to the back office team to process them. So when we started analyzing this situation, we said, okay, let's have a look at the process. How does that work? So process actually work very simple. Process is like customer goes into the website and basically either schedules a technician, or they call the planner to basically schedule a field technician to arrive at their location and do the work. Then field technician gets the work on their mobile. They visit the site and they conduct the work, and then they take pictures. And this particular scenario, I'm actually zooming into this one scenario here, where at the end of the work, they basically take pictures and they send it back to back office. Now, at that point of time, they checks. There's a checkpoint at the back office, so they check whether the work is properly done or not. If it's not properly done, then the field technician has to go back again. If it's good, then they basically say work is done and the customer is notified. Now, this process only was resulting into more than 10,000 images per day coming to the system. They're related to more than 2.5K equipments out on the field. And in the end, this last quality checkpoints becomes a bottleneck for providing better and prompt service to the customers, because customer is still waiting. Maybe work is done, but somebody needs to verify, look at the images and say, yep, work is done, and the issue is resolved. Now, this is the challenge. This is the process looks very simple. We looked at it and we thought, well, that's very simple anyway. We can't, it's not over-engineered. We can't further improve it. Let's look at the data. Okay, we're getting a lot of data. How can we bring some intelligence, some smartness into the solution on the system? The system can provide a better service somehow to the customers. Okay, so that is the quest. The starting point was very simple. The starting point was, can system think? You're getting a lot of these pictures. These pictures are, although they are lots, right, and data set is huge, but they're all related to a finite set of products or assets. Your assets are only this much. And if you categorize your asset, then you have got this finite set of asset types. So work is happening on these asset types. Imagine in this scenario, imagine that you are fixing the internet devices, you're fixing or you're servicing the electricity devices, you're fixing the computer related devices. All of these, maybe they are huge in numbers, but it can be categorized into asset types, and each category is serviced or fixed or stored in a specific way. So in the end, images are huge, they're in huge numbers, but you can always categorize them. Okay, that's one. That's also one sort of insight. Second is, you're getting this continuous stream of data incoming into Dynamics, which translates into this conclusion that you can set up a system and then you can always improve it, because you are getting the new data and you can always look at how the system is thinking and what is it resulting into, and then you compare that with the incoming data. do some sampling, and then you find out the accuracy of systems thinking. So the question started with, can system think? How can we make system think? And guess what is the first thing that comes to your mind? That's AI Builder, right? AI Builder, part of Microsoft's Power Platform suite of products. AI Builder is there. It's very much easily be able to be integrated to Dynamics. You can create it, you can manage it, you can use it within the same make.powerplatforms.com, the same Power Platform Maker portal. And you can talk to AI Builder through Power Automate, and then you can also talk through Canvas app. Okay, so quest started, identify the product. What is next? How can we make the system think? Three things we'll have to do in all the three areas. First thing, all the images data set that you're getting, take a sample out and then divide them into train and test. And that is a fundamental mechanism of how you build models in any AI model, in any AI builder or other products. You basically divide your data set into train and test. And train is where you feed that into a system and you ask system to basically train itself. And then you test the system using test data set. And we'll talk about how you can do that. What is the percentage around that? So that's one. And number two, then you train the model and then you test it. And if you're happy, then you publish it. So that's your AI builder model up and running. Second comes to Dynamics Field Service. Dynamics Field Service, maybe on the work order screen, create a field to basically capture the result, which comes from the AI builder. And then use Power Automate to send the pictures of the completed work to AI builder. AI builder runs and send you a result, which show up on the field service. And you can show up on the web, or you can show up on the mobile or portal or anywhere. Once it's in Dynamics database, once it's in CDS, you can basically show that anywhere, right? So these are the nuts and bolts. These are the three areas where we are going to implement a solution on. All right, so at this stage, let's enough talk. Let's go into the system and see some action. So this is Dynamics. I'm sure it's very familiar to you, but I am going to start with the most exciting bit of this presentation. I'll go to the AI model. Okay, so I'm on a makerpowerapps.com portal. On the left, you can see you have got AI Builder, and it's got two things: builds and model. Build is where you build a new model, and model shows you existing models. So I've got the existing model already there, but I'm only going to show you very quickly how you can build your own model. Okay. So you've got, when you go to build, you will see all these different types of templates there, or different types of model types there, which are already there, which comes out of the box. And then you can also design your custom ones. And so custom ones you can design through these 5 options on the top, and out of the box ready to use are down the bottom, like business card reader, entity extraction, key phrase extraction, all of those things. For our particular issue, this is related to images, this is related to objects. So let's go to object detection. Okay, it's going to ask us, what is it about? What are you trying to do? So let's say test, right? For now, let's just call it test. And you'll see here, it's you can see they have got very pertinent information there available as a help when you are designing your own model. So have a look. This is all useful, but I'm going to talk about that anyway during my talk. So we just naming this AI model as a test, a very intuitive name, and then we're going to create it. Okay, what this will do, this will open up a screen and it will take you through the wizard. It will take you through the 4 or 5 steps where you basically create the model. First thing, it asks you, okay, it's asking you what type of model you want to do. You want to do a common objects, or objects on retail shelf, or brand logos. So for our issue, our problem, we are looking for common objects. So I'll keep this selected, common objects, and then move on. Second, it is asking me to choose objects for your model to detect. Okay, so objects are basically what model should be looking for in the image, right? And depending on the problem that you're trying to solve, you would have different types of objects. But for now, for the mechanism, for the issue that we are looking at, we will just keep it simple. We will just call it pass and fail, right? So if it's working or it's not working, that's all we are interested in. So we'll keep these two, and we'll select next. And then this is where you are going to add images. So I have to, for this particular presentation, I've made it simple. What I did here, I got the Lego bricks, and what I then decided for this demo is the 1x2 image like this, that's a fail, it's not pass, right? But the other image, the 2x2 image, that is a success. That means that you did the work right as a field technician. So what happens then, you basically go and upload the images, right? So for example, you upload this image, and this is how you you need to upload more and more images, and then you need to tag them. And basically tagging means that you go in there, and for example, I only selected one image. In the real life, when you're building it, you would be selecting more images, and then you will tag it. So for example, I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to say this is a pass, right? And that is what you're going to do for all the images. And then you basically click on train. And at that point of time, your model will start getting trained. And then you will see something like this. So I will show you my own model, which I trained beforehand for this demo. All right, so this is my model. It's called Check Work Quality. And if you go in there, you will see it is trained and it is published. The accuracy here is very high. It says 100%. It sounds good, but actually it's not. And we'll talk about that consideration in the end. But the model is ready and it's published, and you can basically use it. When you're using the model, you can use it in two mechanisms. Using two mechanisms, one is the Power Automate flow, and other is the using through the Power Apps. So this model is there. Now what happens is, let's see a demo. So imagine I'm in Dynamics Field Service, and let's open up this work order. And I've got an evidence field here. I am going to select that. And let's select this one. And it's pending at this point of time, right? And I'm going to save it. It is saved. Okay, let's refresh it. Accepted. Great. Field technician did the right work. Work is done. I can close the work order, right? That's exciting. And number two, let's make it fail this time. So we select it. We go to data, my sample data, 1x2, and then we select a 1x2 logo brick. It's uploaded. We move it back to pending and save. And let's see what happens. Oh, it's rejected. No, it's not done correctly. Field technician needs to go back and fix it. All right, and then I think now you must have already guessed that what is connecting Dynamics and the AI Builder is the Power Automate. So we go to Power Automate, and this is my flow. You can see the flow is running, and the flow is basically very simple. What this flow is doing is it runs on the trigger of work order. When work order is updated and that particular quality field is updated, it basically gets that image again from the field service. It is then using the predict. Predict is the action that you can select, and you can select the model here. Remember, this was my model, that you're passing on that file or image which you got, and then you get the result back. You look at the result, pass or fail, and then you send it back to the Dynamics. So this is how AI Builder is used to basically automate all the incoming evidences of the completed work. AI Builder is automatically then categorizing them as work is passed or work is failed, and a work is failed, then automatically a process runs and creates another booking for the field technician to go and fix that asset. The exciting thing about this entire journey is, look at the performance. It actually runs very, very fast. So that was Dynamics Field Service and AI Builder. And AI Builder was used to enhance or to improve and optimize Dynamics Field Service. And the meta point here is, it's not just the Dynamics Field Service. The business applications generally the way business applications are structured and they're used, they have got data and they've got data relationships and processes. But then there's, with the AI now getting commoditized using AI Builder and all the other tools, you can bring in that intelligence. You can smartify all those systems. All right, so I'm going to go back to my slide now. What are the considerations? There are considerations. Obviously, like using any other system, you need to understand a few things, how AI Builder works. So for example, quality of input data is important. As your data quality, image quality is good, and the output would also be good. That's the simple garbage in, garbage out terminology. You need to divide the test and train data sets into different models. You can do using 80-20 rule. 80% would be your training data and 20% would be your testing data, or you can go to 70-30%. Usually in my experiences, I've just used 80-20 rule. It's just a good yardstick to just divide up your data. But obviously this is, you're doing that per category. So if it's a particular type of asset type, which for which you have got all these evidences, then you will have this one data set and then you will divide this up into 80-20. Too much accuracy is not good. Unlike the normal systems where you have got if then else sort of conditioning, AI builders work in a different way. So if there's 100%, that means your model is overtrained on that particular data set. And when it will actually work on the real life data, it will not be good. And how will that happen? It will only happen like in my example. I only had got 20 images for this example, only for this demo. But in real life, if you add more images, at least 50 is the benchmark. At least 50 if you have got, then your accuracy will not be 100%. It should be around between 80-90, then it's good. And understand the limitations. AI Builder, as it is being rolled out, it rolls out differently in different geos, just like Dynamics, and then understand the differences in terms of supported features. So there might be some certain feature that is supported in the US region, but it's not available, for example, in APAC. So just understand those limitations while you're implementing. The best resource to understand more is to just go to Microsoft Docs. They have got best practices overall, and they also got best practices per model. Where you can go and learn more, you can, for me, the best site was Microsoft Learn. Microsoft Learn has got the entire training track on Dynamics Field Service as well as on Learn. So you can have a look. Forums and community events like Does Dynamics Con is also very helpful because you learn about the real life experiences, and then you can discuss the problems, and then you can find out how other people resolve the same problems. That's all for me. I would be, this is where I exist virtually. So on Twitter, and this is my website and my email. If you have any questions, if you have any feedback, I would love to have a virtual coffee with you and discuss those discussions around the field service or AI Builder. Thank you.